I'm so excited to be here today at NetApp World Headquarters with none other than the CEO of NetApp, George Kurian.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's really great to be invited here to do this live and in person. It's an opportunity that we have rarely, and thanks for accommodating us.
Not at all. Thank you for the partnership, and thanks for taking the time.
It was great to see you at Google Cloud Next recently, and this is a great follow-up to that. And when I meet leaders that are illustrious in their careers and have achieved great things, I always like to dig into the past a little bit, if you don't mind. So as far back as you want to go to leading up to now, I'd love to, for me and for our audience, to learn about just your career story and how you ended up here as CEO of NetApp.
I think I grew up in India at a time where there were no computers in India. I'd never seen a computer till I came for undergraduate college in the US. And, there's a bit of circumstance and timing. I came to the States in 1986, which was the early years of personal computing. And the Macintosh had just come out. And I got to be a lab tech in college for the first Macintosh lab in, colleges in the US. That got me interested in computing. And after graduating with a degree in computer science, I came out west to work for Oracle. I started out as a software developer, but I was always curious about what customers did with technology. So I took the opportunity when it was available to move over into product management, then did a variety of sort of product general management jobs at various scales, all the way from startups to Cisco, and then came to NetApp 10 years ago. I joined NetApp, led the software group, then led the product division, and then in 2015, was fortunate to get a chance to be the CEO.
Well, you've done a tremendous job. I think the job of transforming an organization the way that you have is not easy. And we were just talking about, our time at Google Next and how the reaction from the people that saw you there in that context, maybe for the first time, how excited they were about the transformation and also the partnership with Google Cloud, of course. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, how do you take an organization that is so well established and so well known in one thing, and then get it to be successful and as known in the world of cloud? And I'd love to also learn about your work with just making your services available on GCP natively, which is a tremendous undertaking.
Thank you. Well, I think you're right about it being a hard job. I think that the companies that have the hardest time transforming themselves are ones that have been particularly successful in one one market, one business. It's almost their identity is
Correct.
at threat.
Yes.
We've always believed that if something is of value to customers and is an advantage to customers, you have to go where they're going. Otherwise, they're going to leave you behind. And so we saw, very early after I got to NetApp, we began to work on how do we make the cloud useful to our customers. And we kept the customer at the center of the discussion between us and the various cloud providers. I think the second is to have the humility to know what you're really good at, and conversely, where you need to partner. Mm-hmm. We realized very quickly that we were not going to be a complete cloud provider.
Right.
But that we had world-class technology that could make the cloud provider platforms much more valuable. And I didn't think it was the spirit of that kind of partnership that brought us to work with the cloud providers. I think from a technology collaboration standpoint, it's been awesome to see, two very sophisticated technical teams learning to work together with no boundaries, because really what we have tried to engineer here is a completely seamless experience for the customer, all the way from technology to support to distribution. And that's been really rewarding to see. We had some of the Google engineers at our booth and at our customer event, and it was really nice to see their reflections of working with another team.
Yeah. No, it's incredible for the market and for our customers that they can get the world's best storage solution sort of natively in their environment. And not just in Google Cloud, in your partnerships, obviously you partner across the board, because that's where your customers are and that's where you have to be. But I think all those potential landmines you've avoided, we've seen others who tried to compete directly, say, we're going to build our own data centers and we're going to be the cloud. And I think adjacency to the top 3 hyperscalers and others is a very nice strategic move.
Thank you.
We can't have any conversations today without talking a little bit about AI. It's absolutely transformed the market, I think, at a speed and velocity that we've seen rarely in anything else since. And you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this not as long, but also quite long. And I would like to get your perspective on how that's transforming the storage space and conversation. And then in your particular experience, how it's impacting NetApp and your strategy, and also how it's impacting your customers.
I think, first of all, you're absolutely right. AI is the technology that has the promise to provide the next transformative, improvement in business and productivity of the worldwide economy. There are various different predictions, all large and up and to the right.
Yeah.
And mankind benefits enormously with tools that enable productivity. And so we're excited about that. We've been working in the AI market for almost 6 years now, where we've worked with players like NVIDIA, for example, to enable predictive AI, which is really ways that AI understands patterns and then predicts what's the right pattern. Everything from disease predictions in life sciences to better manufacturing process outcomes in discrete manufacturing to fraud detection or better recommendations in electronic commerce. We've got a large number of customers that use our tech for that purpose. I think what we see with the advent of GenAI is 2 powerful things, right? I think one is customers have often spent a lot of money on getting insight from their transactional systems.
Right.
So they've built data warehouses and databases and BI tools and on and on. But the largest amount of data in a corporation, and frankly, the fastest growing, is unstructured data.
Definitely.
And so we have been the leader in unstructured data storage forever.
Right.
And what we now have is the combination of a really sophisticated data management platform together with this really powerful tool that can allow you to extract insights from it. So that's one, and we're excited about that. Secondly, we really see the opportunity for clients to really build multi-cloud architectures. Much of their data probably still sits on premises,
Right.
but the pace of innovation, as you and I saw on the clouds, is extraordinary. And so we're excited about that. I'm curious, what do you guys see with the opportunities in AI?
Yeah, look, it's been quite of a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster in a lot of ways over the last 9 months or so. And it started with, of course, and it's always like this, like something happens that's so mainstream and in the zeitgeist, usually something in the consumer realm that changes the paradigm and changes the direction of the enterprise.
Absolutely.
It's a very common pattern. Again, never at this volume when ChatGPT came out, and it was sort of like a surprise to the universe. Like it's like, oh my God, look at this thing that this little known company at the time called OpenAI has released, and it was sort of shocking and scary at the same time. It was scary in terms of what does this mean for all of our jobs? What does it mean for the legal frameworks that exist around copyrights and information? Yeah. What does it mean for students and all these things? But also kind of selfishly for us and for me, and being dedicated to the Google Cloud ecosystem, like what does it mean for Google? And I have to say that there's 2 or 3 main patterns we're seeing. One is many of our digital native customers, 60% of our customers are digital native, are actually leaning on us for the first time for services and engineering support. They've been self-sufficient for many years. They have some of the top engineers in the world, but they know that speed to value, let's lean on someone like SADA to compress the algorithm of how quickly they can actually achieve something on the platform. So that's fascinating because they're very self-sufficient for a long time. The other paradigm is every traditional enterprise, public or not, is being challenged by their board, by their executive team, to have at least a perspective. And that's a lot of work, and a lot of it is not engineering work in the beginning. It's really ideation. It's actually helping, we're trying to help our customers find alignment internally on what they want to do. I think the risk, and I love your perspective on this, is how do we ensure that this opportunity, this paradigm, doesn't fizzle out into a bunch of science experiments and actually provides production-grade applications that solve real problems, that is purpose-built to be solved by GenAI, and how do we get our customers to focus?
I think it starts with, probably having a clear view of what are the opportunities for any business. And broadly speaking, for us, we see three opportunities. One is to help our customers be successful with AI as a capability.
Mm-hmm.
The second is to use AI in your products and services to make them better, which we've done for a long time, but the tools get better and better. And then the third is to use AI to drive the productivity in your business, which is around software development getting better, understanding your business, systems much better, making customer experience or customer service much more productive, right? And so I think it starts with that. I think the second, I think the Boston Consulting Group working with Google had a good perspective on it, where they had the 10-20-70 rule, which is 10% is models. Models, everybody's going to have a bunch of different models, and there's going to be different models for different use cases. But it's 10% models, 20%, how do you use your data, and good and better data. And then the third 70% is really how do you take it from, sort of a data science proof of concept into business process, right? And I think there, what I see as really important is the integration of AI into changing your business process. And there's opportunity for both technology companies to provide an integrated infrastructure, but also, folks like yourselves to advise and build that capability around change management, process reengineering, and so on.
Definitely. And I think the drag along into, acceleration of just cloud adoption in general.
That's right.
And the drag along to way more storage, including unstructured data. It's really apparent that paradigm is happening. And the other part that I was grateful for is, tech has been struggling for 18 months around this time when this happened, and it's been nothing but bad news. And then ChatGPT came out and sort of created this air of optimism and excitement that I haven't seen in a long time. But it's really the proof over the next months and quarters is going to be, how do we land a secure, safe, managed environment where these innovations can happen? And then how do we choose the right things to work on such that the ROI is obvious?
That's exactly right.
I
I think we have a center of excellence that we're forming to take advantage of these capabilities. I think my advice to my team is be really careful how broadly you circumscribe the constraints on the technology, because it's better to give up more of your quote unquote intellectual property to get the benefits than try to circumscribe a huge amount of intellectual property and then not be able to take advantage of it.
Totally.
And so we're trying to lean into that, and we're trying to iterate quickly. And I think giving teams the comfort that you can make mistakes and it's going to be okay is important at these crucial moments.
I think our teams are starting to work together a little bit on this. This is also some element of co-innovation and creativity that's happening that is, again, just completely net new in terms of how it's landing, which I love.
Yeah.
The other thing we have to be cautious of is it's never been easier and faster to build applications, but then it's never been more high stakes in how to operate and manage those applications.
That's exactly right.
It's the reverse. Before, it was took a long time to build an application. Management was pretty straightforward. Now it's fast to build, but it doesn't just keep working forever now. Like you have to really do a lot of work. So it's an operating model and a service model that is changing how we service our customers as well.
Don't you see that one of the great opportunities in the cloud is to make available these tools to every business, right? So that it's not just the leading edge or the really wealthy businesses that have access to these tools, but I thought it was interesting that Sundar said our job is to make it easy for everybody in the world. And I think that's a really powerful mission statement.
It is. And, I'm a little biased, but I would say that Google's in a tremendous position to lead in that capacity. And everything we've seen in Vertex, the building blocks, the tools, the models, public data, it is, you don't have to be a genius to create a great application using GenAI. And you don't even have to be a very good developer, actually, to do it, which is, again, good and bad, but it is absolutely democratizing. And it's how it should be. And look, I'm an optimist. I'm a technologist. You're an optimist. You're a technologist. It is daunting, every paradigm shift, but there's a lot of pattern, matching with any other big transformation, industrial revolution, computers, internet, mobile. Again, this is a little different in its human-like nature. So we're trying to get our minds and strategies wrapped around what that means. But I tend to believe that we're going to go through a period of immense job creation and economic productivity, as opposed to this is going to be devastating. But that's just maybe my optimism speaking.
I think, to be honest, in the developed countries where there is a decrease in the, working age population because of the demographic shifts, AI is going to be necessary to even keep the workforce and the, national economies growing, right? Because you look at many of the developed countries, the number of, working age capable people is shrinking as a percentage of the total population. So this could be the boost that those economies need. And hopefully it's also an opportunity for the developing countries to leapfrog and get to a developed state faster.
Like cell phones in Africa, for example.
That's exactly right.
I hope we're both right. And we're going to work actively to make sure we're contributing positively to that outcome, which includes ethical AI and safe AI and security and all those things. Let's talk about Google Next a little bit. It has been 4 years since Google Next really took place. Actually, next year's dates have already been revealed. I think it's April 11th or so, changing the venue to Vegas, which I've heard also means it's going to be bigger, which is good because they actually closed registrations down. It was sold out, I think, 2-3 weeks before the event. So what was your experience like there? We met together. You took a lot of meetings. You said prior that your booth was happening, which is great to hear. But what was the top surprises, takeaways from those 3 days over there at the Moscone?
I think it was it was nice to have a whole bunch of energy in one place after many years of digital conferences or very small scale. I thought that the Google team did a really good job about sort of taking the event as an opportunity to both reflect on where they've come, but also lay out a perspective of where they're headed, which was important and was refreshing to see. We work with them on a lot of joint collaborative initiatives, and it's good to see from Thomas and Sundar kind of a longer term view of how they see their strategy evolve, which was great. And then I think from our perspective, it was awesome to see people that we had never met before, customers who we had met and met in a different context in their data center environments come up and say, wow, we never knew you guys were on the Google Cloud. And it was really nice to see that. And our booth was really busy. I was personally involved in back-to-back meetings for 2 days straight, which is how I like it.
Yeah, of course.
And, I think that it shows that there's real opportunity for our work with them. And
I loved how Sundar not only showed up on the main stage, but he showed up again in the small stage at Leader Circle with TK and Adair in that case. And I was like, this is a critical component of Alphabet.
That's exactly right.
That was a great statement. And I just love that dynamic of Sundar plus TK and Adair, of course. Our customers were elated, not just in what they learned, and not just in what we presented, but in their own experience with their own end customers. They were just so happy. They got so many leads, so many great conversations. So now the job's on us to keep the momentum going into April. And you have your own conference coming up. Let's talk about Insight. When is that happening? Tell us all about it. If somebody's never attended, never been, what is Insight about?
Insight is our customer and partner conference where we bring together, thought leaders, we bring customers, and we bring our partner ecosystem together to learn about, not only the technologies that we are bringing to market, but we really try to learn, bring partners to teach our partners, as well as customers to learn from each other. That's been a long-standing practice. Like, Google.next, we haven't been able to hold it in person for many years.
Yeah.
So this is the first in 5 years, and it's happening at the end of October, 23rd through the 25th in Las Vegas.
Vegas.
So insight.netapp.com would be the place to go.
I wish you great success at the event. Thanks for being my guest, and thanks for welcoming me into your home. And I look forward to our future together as we partner ever more closely for us to be more comprehensive to our customers in terms of what we're able to bring to the table.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks
really
for having me. We
appreciate
appreciate the partnership, your expertise in areas that complement us, and we're looking forward to a great year together.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Cloud and Clear. Check the show notes for links to this week's topics. And don't forget to connect with us on Twitter @CloudandClear and our website, sada.com. Be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app.